G'day fellas and welcome to A Casted Game. Today we bring you another game from EGC Finals 2023. I'm excited to bring this one to you because we are going to be witnessing two of the best civilizations on hybrid maps. That is correct. Today we're playing on the map Four Lakes. This is not currently in the ranked pool, but it may eventually reveal itself, so we do have to be very careful about it. But anyway, let's get in and introduce our players for today. In the south of the map, in the color yellow, playing as the Rus, we've got Beastie. And in the north of the map, in the color blue, playing as the Japanese, we've got Wham01. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying this casted content, be sure to leave a like on the video. It really helps out the traction of each of the videos, so hopefully you're enjoying it as much as I am casting it. I'm looking forward to this game because, as I mentioned before, we've got two behemoths of the hybrid maps. Now, we've got the Rus on the south side, known as an incredibly difficult to deal with civilization, mainly because of the Golden Gate on water. I'm curious to see what option Beastie looks for here, whether he goes into the Kremlin, considering it was nerfed relatively recently. On the other side of the map, though, with Wham playing as the Japanese, his powers, of course, are not just limited to the land, but also to the water. He pays full price for his docks, but his fishing boats are very affordable. 45 wood compared to the 75 wood that most civs have to pay, or in this case, for the Rus, 150 wood. A little bit more expensive for these Rus players. In fact, they pay double the cost, but their fishing boats are a lot better than the average civilization, so it's kind of important to consider. But nonetheless, we move on, we move forward. Now, one of the things that I would like to mention early on in this game is if you're looking for coaching content, make sure you check out the Patreon. There is plenty of coaching content available over there. I've just released a whole bunch of videos from previous seasons. So season 5, 4, 3, all those earlier seasons, they are now available to the public. So just head over, the link in the description, it'll be there. Of course, there's also paid content if you're interested in this season's civilizations and strategies, then season 6 is still behind a paywall. So just keep that in mind. But let's talk a little bit about this matchup, about what we can expect. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping we're going to see it. Are we going to see a samurai spam from Wham? One of the big things about hybrid maps is there is a lot of food to be had. We take a look here and you can see that there are 4 fishing spots on each one of these little ponds in every respective corner of the pond, and that naturally means with more fishing spots, more fishing boats, more food income, and I suspect more food-heavy units like the samurai. So I'm hoping Wham spams some Sam, and we, I'm sorry, I won't do that anymore. And we get to have a good time because I'm still kind of confused about what the best unit composition is to go against the Japanese. I think this is such a tough cookie to crack because I absolutely love the civilization, but it's so difficult fighting against samurai. Just the Odachi bonus is what does it. Like, samurai are obviously just good units, but the fact that they get Odachi as well, which is that extra bonus damage against infantry units in Castle Age, it's +4. It's incredible because my number one go-to is something like, you know, spear crossbow, and it just counters both of those. So it's like, do you go for knight crossbow? Is that the play that Beastie's going to be looking for? But take a look at this. We've got Koka Township coming down for Wham. No real surprise. This landmark is called the most overpowered landmark in the game, asterisk, on hybrid maps. That's the one thing, that's the caveat that you got to put in that sentence. The Koka Township. This landmark allows you to produce the Shinobi, and with the Shinobi, you've got access to a whole raft of abilities, but the most important one is going to be your ability to lock down an enemy dock. And that enables you, if you're in a situation down here looking to get a dock up on your opponent, what you're able to then do is come down here, bring your Shinobi, make sure that you neutralize the enemy dock, gives you 30 seconds of time, and then all of a sudden you can get your ships out, get yourself a nice little bit of a head start. So it allows you to win those early little ship battles quite early on, very, very decisively as well, I will say that. But Beastie now going to be looking to move over onto that second pond. We don't yet see Wham expanding out to his second pond, but a very passive opening so far, as you would expect in these games. Once Beastie obviously looks to click up as well. And can we just remark on how quickly Wham has managed to get up into the feudal age? Like, this is incredible. The fact that he is still on, he's got 5 villages. Like, look at the timing on this. This is insane when you think about it. And I guess this is just demonstrating the power of the Japanese. When you think about they're only paying 45 wood for a fishing boat, it means that their fishing boats are coming out faster. It means that their fishing boats are obviously cheaper, so less villager seconds on the wood. But now, look at this. We got Wham beginning to move down towards that south side of the map. The Shinobi is on the loose. We're going to be paying close attention to his ability, not to shun Shin, but to sabotage. That's going to be the most important one. Villager coming down here as well. So he's looking to get on the opponent's water. But early on, Beastie's already got the walls down. Now keep in mind, even though this wall is up, Beastie might be thinking of walling out the dock. You can always just shun Shin over to the other side. 13 villagers on the Kremlin here for Beastie. He is trying his best to get this up. We see Wham beginning to move through. Beastie knows he's got to get it up quickly. First attack comes through. He moves the villager back. Knows that the Keshik knows that the Kremlins will be coming up here and immediately shun Shin's out. Very well played there from Wham. Does cop an arrow as he leaves, but both of the Shinobi come up empty-handed at this stage. So Beastie doing a pretty decent start here. Now, one thing to note over on that east side is we do have contested waters, and immediately the Shinobi move towards that direction. Wham, he's got no idea what's over there, but he will suspect there's probably going to be some sort of presence out there. Scout comes through. He's looking to try and find a bit of insight as to what the plan is for Beastie. A lot of villagers on gold. That indicates it's probably going to be some sort of water vessels out today. Question's going to be, which pond are they sitting in? Because we've got plenty of them, and it looks like it's going to be the Logic Galley that comes out here for Beastie, denying the Shinobis out. Cute little shun Shins out into nowhere, and then just kind of AFK, just chilling out. He just likes to use the moves. I appreciate that. We've all done that before. We've all just, you know, you've got the ability to use it, so you might as well. Second dock now coming up as well for Wham. So it looks like we're going to have a pretty passive dock game, because that's one of the things when it comes to this sort of map, this hybrid map that's split where you've got your own ponds. It's like, I can challenge you, or I can just leave it and we'll just call it even Stevens and we'll meet at 15 minutes, that sort of thing. And we can see that it looks like it's going to be the later of those two. No real challenges coming through here. Obviously, Wham has been a little bit oppressive early on with his Shinobi. But for the most part, Beastie's been able to keep him at bay with the speed of the Kremlin that he managed to get up there, together with the early transforming. I think he had a bit of a transformer action over here with the Logic Galley, just making sure that he was able to cover that, because I didn't see anything in queue at the dock, which is quite natural in this sort of opening. But check in with Wham and see how he's doing as the outpost begins to come down. We've seen a lot of players really look to try and take this outpost on. It does seem to be changing the way many civilizations are playing against 2 TC styles as well. This is particularly effective, and this is largely because of the TC change. Previously, TCs had that full range, I think it was 8 range, whereas now they do not have that ability. And you can see right there, Beastie doing a great job of getting out onto the water here, but unfortunately, Wham does get denied. So we'll probably, he's trying to take out the villager, probably not going to find it here, but Wham with 2 docks up now. We can see up towards that top side, he's got plenty of docks up here as well, 3 docks. Floating gate coming up for Wham, and these players are just not missing a beat at all. They know exactly what is going on here. Both of them looking for that castle age timing. Beastie a little bit behind at the moment, but he'll be up very, very soon. And now going to be losing out that gold. Now keep in mind, he's got a gold on the backside. He's also got an additional gold a little bit down towards the south. So expect him to try and move those villagers, rotate them out. High trade house now going to be coming in for Beastie. And oh my god, what a good high trade house you've got here. This is absolutely superb. What do you guys reckon? How many trees are we going to see here? I'm going to go with... This is going to be big. This is 100 and... Nah, it can't be 100. 60... Nah. We'll go 83. 83. 83 trees is my bet. All right, a little bit of a rotation coming through. Wham with a slight villager lead. Keep in mind that they are fishing boats for the moment. So it's not a true villager lead, but hey, they're still economic units. And have a look at this. We got the stable coming out from Wham. Now, if there's ever a good time to be putting a Yorishiro in a stable, it is this time. And you might be wondering, why would that be a good time? Well, it would be a good time because you're going castle, you're rushing it up, and you have limited resources at this stage on land. But what you do have is a huge amount of food and a huge amount of gold that is sitting there surplus. So he's going to come out, and we see the Yorishiro coming through. He's going to go 1 in the stable, 1 in the TC, looking to play it a pretty standard hybrid style here. But this stable is really pumping, and you can see the resources that he's going to be pumping into this. This is effectively 3 stables that he's got right here. He could have looked to have dropped a second stable as well and pumped villagers, or pumped mounted samurai from that also, but the risk is that you aren't going to be able to support it. Even on 1 TC with all of these villagers out here, you're still on that risk, because it's like 6 stable equivalent, right? Like it's a lot of resources you're going to be pumping into it. But now, Have a look at this. Beastie says, I know what's coming. I know what you're up to. I don't have to have my scout in your base to know that you're going to be going for some kind of mounted samurai strategy. And have a look at this. Beastie, unable to take the gold veins, completely locked out of them. What I'd love to see is a shinobi over the top. Because now with these walls coming up, does Wham know about this? Indeed, oh my god, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He can just shinobi over the wall. And now Beastie unable to take this gold vein. You can see he's going to really be struggling here. Immediately, the villagers run out. And when they do, they're going to be meeting the samurai. So he's not sure which direction he wants to go right now. Does he go out towards death or does he stay inside and die? It's one of those classic gambles where you lose both of them. The house always wins in this situation. Knight now looking to try and fight up against these two mounted horsemen. Mounted samurai. That's going to be 3 that come out. And keep in mind, he is just pumping non-stop here. Constantly units streaming across the map. Second stable going to be coming down here as well. You can see him starting to bank up those resources. But the samurai coming out thick and thin on these mounted cavalry pieces. Nice little mining camp as well. It does adapt slowly, but a lot of time being lost from running around. You know, when Wham is just sitting up here on this gold vein gathering, he's absolutely minding his own business. Compare that to Beastie, who's had to juggle these villagers, move them around, and put them on different spots. Wooden Fortress now coming up. Looks like it might be connected with on that mounted samurai. Manages to find another villager and escapes at the same time towards that top side. We've got a lancer, or rather a scout that's going to go down to the mounted samurai, and he will be able to chase this away. And we start to see walls coming up here for Wham. Definitely a nice call early on. Makes a lot of sense. I would have loved to have seen that from Beastie, but it's a big resource investment. Mounted samurai now coming through. The militia are going to try and repel this a little bit. Not going to be able to find it. Does bring the relic closer to his base. So not all hope is lost for that relic. But early on, I can tell you right now, the tempo from the Japanese is just something else. It is absolutely incredible, the tempo that we are seeing right here. 11 villager lead at the moment. Keep in mind, Wham has taken out 4 of Beastie's villagers. Beastie only taken out 1 of Wham's. But now those knights going to be looking for a connection. We can see the numbers here, almost identical. The main difference here is just going to be that deflective armor. The other thing to remember is the Ayyubids, not yet in play, but I suspect will be out on the field very, very shortly. One of the strongest components to the Japanese army, capable of buffing up all the other units around it. And remember that we've got some big upgrades that can come in here as well for the mounted samurai, particularly +3 on the melee upgrades. Beastie doing a great job garrisoning inside of the town center immediately, but still under pressure with these villagers on the front line. Lancers once again running through. Mounted samurai trying their best to get villager kills here. And you can see that Beastie needs gold so damn badly. He's really looking to commit here. Both of these players, in fact, running very low when it comes to gold. Everything else is absolutely fine. And it just goes to show the power and the importance, the significance of gold. You know, initially when I pointed out that, oh, the outpost has shut down the gold, but he's got access to 2 more golds down here, you don't really think about the fact that maybe you could just shinobi over the walls. Maybe you could just come and attack this gold. And that's exactly what we see happening. Massive pressure being put on by Wham early on in this game. The mounted samurai once again demonstrating why it's one of the best raiding units in this game. It's just capable of going underneath so much static defense and getting out alive. And we see that once again here. 2 relics now picked up from Wham, and he's actually denied that one away from Beastie that was on the front line. He's still got 1, 2, 3, 4 relics back on the other side. In fact, 3 relics. One of them's a Yorishiro, so we'll call that one. We'll discount that one. But I think he's still only got, he's got the 2 Shinto priests out at the moment. But we don't see, where are those relics? I see 1 that he's got here. I don't know where, oh, it might be coming in over from the east side. Indeed it is. Got our relics slowly coming in. Mounted samurai numbers building though. Up to 12 mounted samurai. Banaman here as well. So in this position, Beastie can probably go into something like spear crossbow, right? Like spear crossbow feels natural. The problem is if you do that, you're playing infantry and you are going to be immobile. And there's always a risk if you do that your enemy will just switch to samurai and you're going to have a really tough time, right? Like samurai mangonel, it is not going to go well for you. Against that. So this is where it becomes difficult in the late game to face the Japanese. They're just such a strong civilization with so many different options and variations that it can play. Even though I know that this civilization is not currently considered the best civ, there's a part of me that thinks it might actually just be the best civ because of the flexibility that it offers. It feels like the English, but it also feels like the Chinese. And it also, it just feels incredible to play this civilization. But now, once again, Banaman together with the mounted samurai guarding up that relic, not going to allow any Rus units nearby. Beastie gets denied once again. 12 horsemen out on the field here. He's not looking to go into the into knights because I don't think he's got the gold for it realistically. He's trying to pump into crossbows as much as he possibly can. Mounted samurai now going to be picking up what appeared to be a, I want to say, was that a relic holder? It could have been a religious unit down there. I don't know why it would have been down there. 5th relic now picked up by Wham. He takes every single relic off this map. Oh, we didn't even check. 80 trees. 80 trees, 179 gold a minute. That's not too bad. What did we say? 69 trees, something like that. I think we upped it to like 82 or something. So I think we're pretty close. I'm happy with that. I think that was a pretty reasonable guess right there. But let's check in on that top side. See how Wham is beginning to build. Have a look at the resources he's going. Is he going Imperial? Is he doing are you actually fast Imperialing here? Fast Imperial could be legit when you think about it, right? You've gone into Mounted Samurai. You've got your walls up here. What do you do once you get there, though? I mean, obviously the answer is just Ozutsu and hand cannoneers, right? Probably just Ozutsu only. And the Ozutsu just absolutely destroy everything. Is he actually doing it? Because there's no units in queue other than the single Mounted Samurai that he's got. And he's already got 19 or 18 on the field now. That's the 19th one. I think he's just doing it. I think he's just committing 100% to Imperial. Are the memes no longer dreams? You guys will remember my very first ranked game that I posted on YouTube. And I'm not going to claim credit for this at all, but it was a Japanese Fast Imperial. And there is 100% a reason why you go Fast Imperial with the Japanese. And that is because of the power of the Taganashima gunsmith. And that's exactly what we see put down. The reason why is whenever you click up to Imperial, you're immediately putting down 3,600 resources worth of something, right? And that's not units. And your enemy can spend those 3,600 resources on units. And now all of a sudden, you're in a problem because you've got a deficit that you're going to have to make up some way, either through upgrades or some other way. What the Taganashima gunsmith does is it immediately gives you 5 tickets that you can spend, or 5 stockpiles that you can spend on those Ozutsu, 240 resource units, which is the equivalent of like a what is it, 1,200... 1,300, yeah, a 1,200 resource rebate. So essentially, instead of spending that 3,600, you're only spending 2,400 to age up. And we see that age up come through right now, and immediately you'll see the Ozutsu collect. I suspect we're going to have it out here. You can see him down on that south side, looking to chase away the cavalry, and you can hear there they are, spammed out of the Taganashima gunsmith. He's also going to put one in queue. He is absolutely keen. And now, is this it? Do we see the samurai switch? Is it going to happen? I reckon we're going to see a samurai switch. It just makes total sense to me. Switching to samurai in Imperial, like how are you going to possibly stop that? Incredible economy that's already going on behind this. Actually, I kind of take that back. He's only got 1,000 food a minute. And as the Japanese player, at 17 minutes into this game, that should be like 7,000 food a minute, 10,000 food a minute, like 46 million food a minute. That's a lot of crossbows. Okay, I kind of take it back about the samurai. Maybe we should go on Manganella. Like, when you see that many crossbows that deep, you're like, ooh, that's a lot of crossbows. But maybe the Ozutsu could be what is going to enable him to deal with this. Because the Ozutsu, he's already got the elite mounted upgrade for the samurai. Does have the Bannerman here with it. Do we have the... He's got the Katana Bannerman out, which is going to buff melee infantry, but he doesn't have the ranged Katana or the ranged Bannerman out, which is going to buff up the Ozutsu. We do start to see veterancy coming through on the Geisha. That could be the unit that turns the tide here. And there's the Mangonel, the single Mangonel. This is all it takes, because now Beastie can't really push in. He needs a Springald, or he needs a way to deal with this. And the reality is, you're just going to be facing off against an opponent that's able to block this out way too well with their units. Unless you've got like a Cataphract that can get through that front line, it's just not going to work. And now those mounted samurai will be able to clean up the horsemen on the back line, and Beastie going to be thinking about going Imperial himself. We can see the resources he's got in the bank. In fact, if we do a little bit of a comparison between these two at the moment, you can see that Wham's sitting at about, what do we got? 1,900, 2,700, about 3,200 resources a minute, compared to Beastie, who's sitting at about 2,600, 2,700. So relatively close, considering 5 relics and a sacred site are in favor of Wham at the moment. It's about where you'd expect. Don't mention the fact he's got a 20 villager lead at the moment, which will make a significant difference as well. But now those mounted samurai looking to come down, cleaning up that ramp, making their way down, and he ideally wants to try and siege this dock down before his opponent can get to it. But we'll come through, we'll connect with those battering rams. And now Beastie doing a really good job. We're right on board with him as he looks to go Imperial Age. It's going to be the High Armory, no real surprise here. A very strong landmark, but he could also look to go for Spasskaya Tower. Here, Spasskaya Tower would make sense against Ozutsu, but I think if you want to win the game, you kind of need to go for the High Armory. It's that siege cost reduction that enables you to leverage the power of the Rus. But Logic Alley does manage to get out here. Very, very cheeky from Beastie. I love the way that he does this. He's always looking to try and split the map, split your attention. it's one of those things where he's looking to always gamble off the APM. But Ozutsu firing off on those crossbow. He's got a pretty nice split here. Formation is going strongly. Villager's going to have to fall back. I think, has he got the sprinkled in placement on it? I see a lot of bows right now, but Ozutsu managing to make some decent shots in here. Keep in mind, they do get that AoE bonus up against these infantry units, so they want to avoid packing or stacking tight like this. And oh my god, he's just going to tap out. He's just going to tap out. Beastie surrenders before the fight can even happen. He just knew it was over. There's too many units here. Wham! Taking the game without a fight and demonstrating the power of Japanese on hybrid maps. Absolute dominance coming out from Wham. Make sure you go check out EGC TV this weekend.